Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today brought to you by our title sponsor, our friends at Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Schenn Max, is that one of these funny names? Is he pulling a fast one on me? He or
Sky
she?
what?
I'd want to say it again. I'm worried. I'll figure it out later. We thank you for your submission, though. Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. Yo, Donnie. The movie Caveman with Ringo Starr. You, of all people, should know this. I mentioned Quest for Fire as a movie focused on prehistoric times. Caveman with Ringo Starr, starring his future wife, Barbara Bach, I believe. Also a good movie focused around cavemen.
Hold on a second.
And I can relate to them, as you might imagine, given my age.
Caveman came out in 1981. A little Ricky saw it in
It's
the
just
theater.
off the top of your head.
No, that's right there. Caveman, 1981. Little Ricky saw it. Little Ricky saw it in the movie theater.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It was funny. It was really campy.
It was good.
Corny.
It was the first Caveman movie. It was good.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the first caveman movie. 1 million BC with Raquel Welch.
Oh, Raquel Welch. Oh,
when I was a kid.
Posters. Everyone had a Raquel Welch poster.
Yeah.
Except me. I had Brian Bosworth.
In a loincloth.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know how to poster of Raquel Welch.
Who?
With Tim Robbins, right?
You know who else?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Patterson as well.
Jeff Patterson had one, Raquel
From
Welch.
Harrison Price and the Rink Wide podcast. He joins us now. I'm sure he's happy about that. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. We were a Farrah Fawcett, my brother and I.
Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels. Oh, so good.
Yeah. Any idea what happened to that poster, Jeff? We'll move on.
I think it's been filed away. Deep into storage somewhere. Are we beefing here, Donnie? Do we have a score to settle?
Okay, I put out a tweet. I'll paraphrase here. I thought, first of all, period and a half, couple of periods. Is it just me, or is this the most entertaining game of the season for the Canucks? We're talking about the game against the Devils. There was speed there. There seems to be some carrying, some energy, and you came at me hard. On Twitter, and I was shocked. I thought we were friends. You mentioned the Montreal game. Yeah.
I mean, you tweeted it was a 1-1 tie at the time. It was entertaining. The start of the second period, there were 3 breakaways, the 2 goals in the first period, Kuzmenko with his dangle around Hamilton, and Jack Hughes doing his thing. No, I mean, there was entertainment in that, but it was a 1-1 tie, and I think what I laughed at was the timing of your tweet, because it came out like 10 seconds before the Devils went wild and scored 3 in 50 seconds. So the entertainment factor kind of dropped out. But hey, credit to the Canucks. They played hard the other night. I was just making the point that the 7-6 overtime win against Montreal and the 8-5 win against Anaheim, where there were 8 goals in the third period. I mean, look, a ton of goals doesn't necessarily make it entertaining. You can have low-scoring, entertaining hockey games, but I just think there had been it was a premature tweet in my mind halfway through the hockey game, but it was a good game, and I like the fact that even though the Canucks, we saw the panic in their game, and we've seen it an awful lot, Rick Tocchet's going to have to learn to live with that. This is the team that he's inherited. But I thought the Canucks punched back, and in that third period, they were really good. And I know there were a lot of people that don't want them to win games in regulation, but honestly, they probably deserve to win. I thought the Devils looked a little spooked, and maybe some of that was just the layoff and the break. And I know Lindy Ruff wasn't happy with the way that his team played. Ultimately, they got the power play, and they won it in overtime. But, there was a lot of good in that from the Canucks standpoint. Whether it was Vasily Podkolzin getting back to the National Hockey League and asserting himself to see Phil DiGiuseppe. These guys want to be in the NHL, right? Like they want to prove to a new coaching staff that they have a role here. And one thing Rick Tocchet has done is he's been able to get to some of these depth guys, whether it's DiGiuseppe or Curtis Lazar scored for the first time in forever. Dakota Joshua has responded to the coaching change. 11 guys have scored in the 4 games under Rick Tocchet. And we just weren't seeing that under Bruce Boudreau at the end. It was the regular cast of characters that were scoring, but it's kind of nice and refreshing to see some depth scoring from the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, Luke Schenn scoring in that game as well, which you wouldn't expect. Hey, what have you noticed? You touched on it there, Jeff, but what have you noticed about the Canucks, if anything, after 4 games with Rick Tocchet?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a mixed bag. Obviously, they took care of the weak sisters in Chicago and Columbus before the break and got smoked by Seattle. But I was a little worried because of what happened in Seattle. I thought New Jersey sort of plays a similar game. Like, it's all about up-tempo, it's puck pressure and pursuit, and I wasn't sure that the Canucks were going to be able to hold their own, but I thought for the most part they did, save for that 50-second span midway through the second period where things went sideways. And Rick Tocchet is going to have to try to teach a little bit more poise and patience. And, maybe at this stage of Tyler Myers' career, you're not going to be able to get the panic out of his game. But, I mean, that was a dreadful giveaway on the second Palat goal. But otherwise, I think Tocchet's just trying to put, structure. It's a word that we've used an awful lot all season long, but trying to instill some structure so that guys are positionally sound, that when there is a breakdown, it's not compounded by other players, that somebody's there to mop up and take care and prevent the disastrous situations as we saw happen the other night. So I know that he's big on trying to win battles on the wall, and he's already talked about Vasily Podkolzin being a moose and a bull. He talked about elephants in his opening media availability. Yeah. On safari, this guy, big game hunter, but he's seen something in Dakota Joshua, and I think that he's been able to bring out a little bit more from Joshua so far. And I'm glad that Podkolzin's back. Like, the thing I want to see about Vasily Podkolzin, and it sounds like he may already be getting a promotion to the second line with JT Miller and Connor Garland tonight. There has to be a bottom line. He's gone 23 games now in the NHL without scoring a goal, and he made goal scoring look pretty easy as a rookie last year. So we can't lower the bar. He was a 10th overall pick. There does have to be a bottom line offensively with him. But the other thing is, it feels like the guys that were called up from Abbotsford out of the break, DiGiuseppe and Amon and Podkolzin, they're all going to be given a chance, I think, to audition as penalty killers. I want to see Pod get an opportunity. The penalty kill is so bad that what do you have to lose? Like, this guy profiles and features like that's an area that he should excel as his career moves along. So that's something I want to see. He didn't get a chance the other night, but as the road trip continues and as he continues to play, I want to see Vasily Podkolzin get an opportunity to try to kill some penalties at the National Hockey League level.
Jeff, big decision coming up on Luke Schenn here. Trade deadline is just a tad over 3 weeks away. What do you want to do with him? I mean, all the options. We talked to his agent Ben Hankinson. He could resign July 1st or move him now. What do you want to see done with Luke Schenn?
I think you have to move him. And I understand the counter argument there about culture carrying and all that kind of stuff, but you have just traded your captain. You have signaled that finally, after years and years of sort of spinning your wheels and trying to take shortcuts, you finally conduct some major surgery. It just doesn't make sense to me that you would go halfway and you would trade Bo Horvat, but you wouldn't be willing to trade Luke Schenn. And I love the guy. And the outlet pass the other night to Kuzmenko, come on, that was beautiful. And then adds the goal and 18 points with no power play time. He's having a terrific season. I do think that there's going to be a market out there, and I think the Canucks have to jump on that opportunity. So if they want to revisit it in the offseason and bring him back here, and I know he likes being here, and he's set up shop in Kelowna and played his junior hockey there and all that kind of stuff, but in the here and now, it is about amassing as many assets as you can. You've already started down that road with Bo Horvat. I just don't think that you can go halfway in your approach to the deadline. So I say move Schenn. If you can find a trading partner and move off Brock Besser or Connor Garland or others, I would continue to explore all of these opportunities because it's not about what's happening the rest of this year. I don't think that they're going to be terribly competitive again next year. And so really you're looking at 18 months out. I think if you can get some assets that could help you then, that's the target for this organization as it heads to the deadline.
And Jeff, quickly, on Twitter, you're, as always, busy on Twitter this week. You defended Rick Tocchet's use of JT Miller on the penalty kill, and a lot of people had disagreed with this. Rick Tocchet's use of JT Miller on the PK in overtime against the Devils.
Right, and I think a lot of people would like to have seen Elias Paterson get that opportunity. Mm. This is going to be really interesting to me, Don. With Bo Horvat out of the way now, Horvat took such a predominance of faceoffs for the Vancouver Canucks, like twice as many as anybody else. He's not here anymore, so others are going to have to step into that breach. Well, it's not an area of strength for Elias Paterson. And a penalty kill in overtime, it starts with a defensive zone faceoff. And my hunch is, and I'm not on the road trip, I didn't get a chance to talk to Rick Tocchet, but JT Miller won 11 faceoffs the other night. My sense is that was probably the thinking that, if you win the faceoff, clear the puck, there was a minute and 19 seconds left, you could probably take 20 seconds off the clock. But yeah, you'd probably like Elias Paterson to be the penalty killing forward. Unfortunately, Paterson went 6-12 in the faceoff circle. That's going to be something to watch because not only did Horvat take a ton of faceoffs, but he took against all the other toughs on the other teams. And so just by taking more faceoffs, you'd like to think Elias Paterson might be able to bring his faceoff game up. But there are other guys around the league that are awfully good at that. And so stepping in, look, Paterson's taken these on as a challenge, right? Anything that's kind of been conceived as a weakness, he's attacked. And I think in time he'll get there. But it is something to monitor as Rick Tocchet, 4 games in, he's still trying to figure out who he's got at his disposal, where they're best utilized. And I think it was a hunch on his part. He went with a veteran in JT Miller. Ultimately, the Devils scored, and they may have scored if Paterson had been out there as well. But that was my thinking on that one. But I am going to monitor Elias Paterson in the faceoff circle because it is an area as he continues to grow his game. It's somewhere that he's going to have to get a little bit better.
Bo Horvat 67% on faceoffs last night for the Islanders against the Kraken, plus the goal. We're okay, Jeff? You and I are getting along here? Everything's good?
I can't wait till next Wednesday, Donnie, to do this all again. And I'm looking forward to the Canucks and the Rangers. And I heard you talking right off the top, Madison Square. It's incredible. When I was out traveling, it was the one building that I absolutely wanted to get to. And I was able to see 3 Canuck games there. But usually a Canucks trip to New York City, like this is the featured matchup. Obviously, the events of the last 10 days make tomorrow night's game against Horvat and the Islanders the featured one. How about this, though? This is kind of flown under the radar. Canucks have beaten the Rangers 5 straight games. That surprised me when I read that in the game notes.
Too bad that didn't happen in just 4 straight in 94. Thanks for this, Jeff.
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thanks.